Today's story is from r/AmITheA by the user daughter issues 3872. The story's title is Am I the a-hole for not giving my daughter money after she ignored me her whole life? The story goes as I got pregnant with my daughter Emma at age 18. I lived at home and was going to college and working. When I got pregnant, my parents kicked me out and I had to move in with my ex. I dropped out of school and quit my job to take care of Emma because my ex told me he would support me. When I was 22, he was 24. He graduated law school. He told me I had to move out because he wanted to find a wife. My parents had forgiven me, so I moved in with them. We didn't have a court order, but we split custody pretty much 25-75, with me having more time. When Emma was 6, he married his new wife. She couldn't have any more kids and wanted Emma and her daughter to be sisters. Over the next 3 years, Emma spent less and less time with me. She'd throw a fit if I tried to pick her up. They gave her things I couldn't. When she was 8, she told me she hated me. I never blamed her for the lies her father put in her head because even though I lived at home, I was in college and working and did my best to provide for her, but obviously they could do more. They took me to court when she was 10 and surprised the lawyer and his doctor, wife, and their $1 million home beat me in court. They painted me out to be this horrible person, and Emma backed them up. They got primary custody and I got visitation. But Emma refused to see me. I gave her money and gifts, but she didn't want me in her life. When I was 30, I met my husband. He is the most amazing man I have ever met. He's seen me struggle with this and been very supportive. He has a daughter Emma's age and a son who is 5 years younger. They lost their mom and were very welcoming and loving. They treated me like their mom. Emma made zero effort to get to know my husband and stepkids. Emma and stepdaughter just graduated high school this past me, and my parents also passed away and gave me their estate since I am an only child. I have decided to pay for my stepdaughter's entire college tuition and buy her a car, pay for an apartment. Emma contacted me a week ago and told me she missed me and wanted to see me. This shocked me, seeing as we haven't talked in years. We met up and she told me she heard my parents died and asked if she could have some money to pay for her college. I was shocked and said, "Well, what about your dad and his wife?" She said, "My mom and dad want me to pay for this on my own and teach me responsibility. And I believe I am entitled to money, seeing as you ruined my life." I was very hurt and told her, "After years of ignoring me and telling me I'm not your mother, you demand money from me. I'm not your wallet." My husband is telling me that what I did was right, but my ex is telling me I'm a piece of crap and I owe her that. My stepdaughter feels bad and offered her college money because my daughter and her friends have been harassing her. And I said, "Absolutely not. This is your money." Am I the a-hole for not giving my daughter money after ignoring me her whole life? And down in the comments, many redditors have judged her to not be an a-hole. But there are a few people that still doubt that there are a lot of missing details and that they would like to get a story from Emma's point of view. Next story is from Temp 772. The story's title is Am I the a-hole for making my son deal with rotting meat? The story goes as I go hunting every year. I'm not a trophy hunter by any means. I do it for meat and almost purely for economic reasons at this point. Taking a few deer off my property once a year keeps my freezer stocked and the grocery bill weighed down, which is important because finances can be tight sometimes. As a little relevant background, the bulk of the meat is kept in a large freezer in the garage, and about once a week we pull out what we will need for the whole next week or so. Which means the freezer is normally only open about once a week. My son, 15, has decided that he is vegetarian about 6 months ago, which my wife and I have no problem with. We started making meatless meals twice a week and made sure every other dinner was such that the meat was separate from everything else so he could still eat with us. This has been working great for the last 6 months with no complaints. However, last week, when I pulled the meat for the week out of our freezer in the garage, he decided to come behind me and unplug the freezer. I guess he thought we weren't doing enough to support his cause. He never spoke to us or complained about our twice a week setup prior to unplugging the freezer. Well, as you can imagine, with a now unrefrigerated pile of meat in the summer heat, it didn't take long for the meat to start to rot and stink. The freezer kept the smell in for a while, so by the time we finally noticed, everything was completely putrid. I asked my son if he knew what happened, and he proudly said that he had unplugged it on purpose and now we would have to be meat free. I told him that he didn't have the right to ruin a freezer full of meat and raise the family grocery bill without discussing it with anyone. I told him that as part of his punishment, he had to clean up the mess, meaning dispose of all the rotten meat and either sufficiently clean and sanitize the freezer or purchase a new one out of his savings. He called me the a-hole for making him interact with meat in any form, but he made the mess. He needs to clean it up. Am I the a-hole? And down in the comments, Les Weasley says, not the a-hole. I'm a vegetarian myself and I'd argue what he's done is worse because the deer have now died for no reason. Plus, it's not okay for him to intentionally ruin the family's groceries and waste money. Buying a new freezer might be overkill, but I don't think it's unreasonable at all to clean it. But we all know that the stench of rotten meat is something that cannot be cleaned out and a new freezer is in the order. Well, good luck, kid.